we're going to Africa. So, two countries, Nigeria and Egypt. So, a delegation of people from Egypt have gone over to Nigeria, and it's a school in Egypt, and they've gone over to Nigeria, and trying to uh, bolster and bring about good relations between two countries. But it's an Islamic school, and they want to promote a culture of moderation in the religion to avoid extremism and to promote tolerance in the religion.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to promote the teaching of tolerance in the religion to avoid people becoming extremists.
Mm.
So that's what this is about.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That is so interesting because when I was reading this article, I can see their attempt to actually, you know, uh, foster this whole message of tolerance and
Mm-hmm.
moderation, right? Between the teachers and the clerics from Egypt and Nigeria. And and I know that they want to really kind of change the perception of how the world is looking at Islam, right?
Mm.
Um, and both countries, you know, Egypt and Nigeria have endured extremist groups and their violence in the name of Allah. Egypt has dealt with Al Jihad, originated in the 1970s, and that merged with Al Qaeda in 2001. And in Nigeria, you have Boko Haram, whose reported goal is to overthrow the current Nigerian government and replace it with a regime that's based on Islamic law or Sharia law. And most recently, and corresponding with the rise of Islamic terrorism, another group is emerging within Islam called like the reformers or the modifiers of modifying Muslims, rather, that I have found in my particular research. And when I look at this particular delegation, this is what I see them trying to present or trying to actually foster to be more so the predominant voice that is coming out of this religion rather than the extremist voice.
Mm.
Um, so I'd want to be a bit more, open to what you guys have found or what some of your thoughts are. Malty, you look like you got something to say, so go ahead and say what you got to say.
Sure. So I was a little bit kind of confused
Mm,
when I read about how the what is Dr. Nazir Ahad, the Secretary General of the Islamic Research Academy at the Al Azhari Institute. This is the institute that's in Egypt, and they're wanting to bring more students from Nigeria to the institute in by providing them scholarships to come and study.
mm,
Um, so yeah, there's a little bit of interesting backstory. This is like one of the oldest, I guess, locations for study of the Islamic faith and of the what they consider correct uh, types of schooling, literature, looking at astronomy, math. But even though that this was, started in the month of Ramadan in 1975 AED, that was prior to Sunniism even being a thing. And then, in fact, in the 12th century, when the the center was taken over by the Sunnis, they took the books that were there. They say it varies. Some say 120,000 books. some say up to 2 million books were taken out, were burned, were thrown in the Nile, or were used for bindings for people's shoes. And some great books. Yeah, let's go ahead and just shorten our feet with them. So how, I mean, if this is what they think is the a core meeting point of the human nature of love and belief in a single God, I don't. It doesn't follow for me that when I look at the history of this institute of learning, I don't know if I'd go with higher, but is that of it looks like war and not one of peace and brotherly love and goodwill.
Yeah. It certainly seems that way. It's like it's not by, forceful arms, like holding them at gunpoint, no less, which we do see those insurgencies happening, especially in Nigeria. But it's more so just, pretty much banning the existence of other religions, focusing on Islam, burning those books, obfuscating all of that information and knowledge and history from these children and from people in general, just to promote what they believe is the one true God, Allah. And it's just another, how Christians say, oh, we want to get them back into the Lord's eye, just, get them, commit them back to the Lord's eye out of love or things like that. Like this notion of false sense of trying to just another way of just brainwashing and reestablishing the one true faith, which is what they believe in.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, like especially with this whole delegation that's coming from one country to another that is attached to a school, right? This normally it does not to, I don't want to straw man anybody and I don't want to misrepresent them. However, it does have the looks or the perception of, bringing more forth, more portions of indoctrination to their religion. But, Esther, I really wanted you, to really go deep as much as you can do, especially since like this is where these clerics and these teachers are meeting and their delegation is like coming together is in your home country, and I'm really would love to get like more from you on your perspective, especially since you're privy to the region and things of that nature.
So Nigeria is a very, very religious country.
Mm.
And the two main religions are Christianity and Islam. If you're not a Christian, you're a Muslim. There have been, there's been the Boko Haram, there's been people trying to force the Christians to become Muslims. The Christians want the Muslims to become Christians. It's like a battle. It's a battle of religions. Right. And that, I'm going to go off topic a little bit here.
Please.
In Nigeria, there's the apostasy laws. There are states in Nigeria, as we speak, that have adopted the Sharia law. Not all states, but predominantly up north, where Islam, because up north is more Islamic, down south, more Christians. So up north, there are states that have adopted the Sharia law and they are ruled by the Sharia. And in those states, if you convert to Christianity, in some cases, you could be taken to court. There have been people being sentenced to death for becoming an apostate.
Wow.
As we speak, I don't know if you guys know about the 10-year-old that was that spoke bad about the Prophet Muhammad, and he was sentenced
Hmm.
His sentence has since been taken off, right? I think they've he's no longer um he's no longer no longer has to do this sentence, but he's had to flee the country. 10-year-old
Wow.
for
Oh my
saying
gosh.
something on a, I think, I'm not sure what it was, about speaking of Muhammad or Allah. I'm not sure. And right now, the president of the Humanist group in Nigeria, he's in jail as we speak.
Hmm.
He's been in jail for nearly 2 years
Hmm.
because he's a humanist and he
Hmm.
lives in. So when I read this article, I was thinking, okay, here comes one country coming to tell another country, oh, let us let us be more tolerant, let us be more accepting of other religions. They speak about the Abrahamic religions, right? That's what the
Mm-hmm.
article is about, the Abrahamic, right? So they want the people to recognize that they're all from this Abrahamic religions, right? So if someone is a Christian, they're from the Abrahamic religion, aren't they?
Hmm.
So I think they should stop and think about the people who are in jail. There's two major cases right now: Mubarak Bala and Aminu. Aminu has been sentenced to death. Aminu has been sentenced to death.
That's
All he did,
the musician.
the musician,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
he's also he's a Muslim. That's the part that gets me. He's a Muslim. Something he said in a WhatsApp group chat is what got him where he is today. So I'm thinking, if two countries are talking about tolerance, where is tolerance when apostates are concerned?
No, there
That
clearly is
Where's
no
tolerance
tolerance.
then?
I mean, guys, like let's just keep it real. You know, as much as like I can appreciate these delegations wanting to insert like a message of moderation and tolerance, but not unlike Christianity, the Quran is not without problematic passages that extremists or even like you just talked about, Esther, can be utilized in order for them to justify their actions. Like this Muslim that you mentioned said something that people did not like, and that's now his life is in jeopardy, right? And the thing about it is, and I was just going to bring up just like a few passages in the Quran in of itself, that I'm sorry, like when I read them, I was just mm. Like Surah 3 151 says that we shall cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve. Surah 2 191 says, and kill them, Nas Muslims, wherever you find them, kill them. Such is the recompense of disbelievers. Surah 9 5 says, kill the disbelievers wherever you find them, capture them and besiege them, and lie in wait for them in each and every ambush. And one more I was going to bring out. Surah 495 states that Allah hath granted a great hire to those who strive and fight with their goods and persons than to those who sit at home. So we have seen over and over again uh, people utilizing sacred texts. I use that loosely, of course, in order for them to really be able to justify actions towards others that do lead into harm. And my whole thought pattern about this delegation, or even people who are in power who happen to be also clerics in both countries, not even just in Nigeria and in Egypt, because of course, like the Islamic faith is a I believe it's like the second largest religion in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you really rectify your beliefs and your sacred text with still trying to teach a message of moderation when your sacred text does not support a message of moderation? Can anyone help me with that?
I mean, clearly you cannot. Clearly,
Can't. You just
the
can't.
the text in which they follow does not follow with what this delegation is trying to create or trying to make in regards to the insurgencies and the issues that they're facing in regards to just having people just aligned to one religion. There is a term I got familiar with through an ex-Muslim friend of mine called the hadith. And that
Yeah.
is essentially a collection of traditions containing sayings from the Prophet Muhammad.
Hmm.
And one thing you actually pointed out in your notes, Cynthia, that I wanted to kind of reference was this, I guess, instance where Muhammad preached to his tribesmen to abandon their gods and to worship under Allah, the
Right.
one true God.
Right.
And so he preached about this, hold charity and conditioned the widows and the orphans and such. And so he proselytized as much as possible to try and to basically have people convert to Islam.
Right.
However, since that did not work in his time in Mecca, as you had noted in your notes,
Right.
I'll quote this, Muhammad and his small band of believers had little success in converting others to the new religion. So, after decades of trying and preaching and proselytizing, he fled to Medina. Over
Right.
time, he cobbled together a militia and began to wage war. So he tried to do it the loving way. That
Right.
didn't work. He went by. He came back with a militia and started forcing people to convert to Islam. How is that any different from what we see from these, offset groups of, of Islamic terrorism and
Yeah.
extremism? It's not
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. This is the example that the prophet set. And,
Right.
and I mean, like,
Exactly.
yeah, and I mean, like, this is saying that, of course, Christianity and Judaism, to be fair, are not exempt. What were the Crusades? What was the Spanish Inquisition? Right?
Mm-hmm.
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 Think about, like, even when we look at the Old Testament, and is the Israelites going into Canaan, and God telling them, kill the men, the women, and the children, but keep the
Right.
ones who don't know me, don't know a man, for yourself, so you can get down and do that thing. That's the Bible according to Cynthia.
Right.
And have them for yourselves as you go and take the land. So this is something, this, especially with, like, you mentioned, Esther, is a theme with Abrahamic religions. Is like, we're going to take over by hook or crook, and then it seems like that after the fact is going to be the message of love, and, like, all of a
Mm.
sudden, like, we have to soothe this overarching of notion of a militia and war, and becoming a part of our particular religion by force. And so we're going to send Jesus,
Hmm.
who speaks love and beatitude-edness and whatnot. And I'm seeing the same thing here, guys. But
And
go ahead, please,
you
Esther.
you
I'm
you
done
talk
screaming.
about they're trying to bring tolerance. They're trying to bring to make it look like, okay, like some people would say it's a religion of peace. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then the prophet, he took for himself Aisha, who was aged, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I think she was 9 years old.
Mm. Yes, very young,
And
more or less.
Yeah.
if the one who is the leader
Mm-hmm.
can take a child bride, I don't know if you guys know about some years ago, the Boko Haram, because the Boko Haram, they think that their version of Islam is the one and true way of doing Islam.
That's right.
Mhm.
So they're trying to clean up. That's Boko Haram. It means they're trying to clean up Islam. They're trying to enforce the right way of doing Islam. And these people went and abducted young girls from school, the Chibok
Yes.
girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some
More
of
than
those
200.
girls, some of those girls have been, they're back with the parents, but most of them are still missing.
That's right.
They've been given to these men. Eh,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you begin? Where do you
Yeah.
begin?
Where do you, yeah.
So, um, as always, when we're looking, you all that are listening to us now can pause and read these articles for yourselves. This one came from Pulse out of Nigeria, and it doesn't make much sense to myself as I'm reading from. I quoted from Dr. Nazir Aid, the Secretary General, but he goes on in this article. He talks about a quote from him. The basic teachings is that individual, excuse me, the basic teaching is that of individual scholarship, enlightenment, and deep knowledge of the tenets of religion. With deep knowledge, no individual will hate, despise, or disrespect another person or religion. I don't know how you can say that with a straight face. In the face of everything that we know that has gone on in
Mm-hmm.
in the name of Allah,
Mm-hmm.
and in Nigeria and in Egypt. At the
Yeah.
very end of this article, a woman, Dr. Nala El Hasahidi, I apologize for mispronouncing your name, who's the director of the International Students Development Center. She asserts that the necessity to develop a framework that ensures equal gender accessibility. So far as I know, all of the scholarships, all of the people that they want to bring to the institute from Nigeria um,
Into Egypt.
into Egypt. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are women.
Mm.
Of course. And I
Of
think this
course
is
not.
something I'll say one final thing. I think it's something that we should continue to be watchful of, just to see how well they delegate this, situation. In addition to what a lot of the occurrences that are happening upholding religious doctrine just to impose oppressionist laws on others. And we see that in reflection in Ghana, in which they just had their first hearing, in which they are attempting to pass this anti uh, gay bill to further or extend prison time, even almost to what is it, the ultimate sacrifice, death penalty status
Yes.
almost. So that's
Yeah.
something we should continue to look to in addition to this, just because of religious doctrine trying to impede upon other people's lives.
Yeah, and I believe you had an update about that too concerning that, Jenna.
Yeah. Yes. So I was just recently looking upon that. Nothing as far as it being a passed bill as of yet, but of course there are supporters and opposers.
Mm.
Still in delegation. Just like I said, still recently just had their first hearing about bringing that bill into actual law. So, it's hard to determine what the outcome is given the state in which, certain countries within Africa and as it is in Ghana, is very religious as well. So, it's something to look out for.
Definitely, definitely. Well, that was a great discussion, guys.